Reddit. What secret are you taking to the grave? NSFW. My mother killed my father when I was 8 years old with a shotgun blast to the face. He bled out through what was left of his head into my lap. Blood has a smell, a stink. When there's enough of it around. She got off because it was a self-defense situation. She sent me to school the next day, and ever since I've pretended that I'm a well-adjusted, stable person. I'm not. The first person I ever fapped to was Wanda from the Fairly Odd Parents. A friend had an abortion before her marriage. Her husband doesn't know. It was his kid. She swore me to secrecy. I will never tell. When my cousin died a few years ago, my family went over to his house to look around for a sense of closure. I ducked away for a bit and noticed his computer was still on. On his desktop was his porn folder. I deleted it before my aunt and uncle saw it. Edit. A word. Me and my wife were going through tough times. I just got back from Afghanistan. I played Russian roulette with my 357 Magnum. 3 loaded. I lost. Getting a divorce now and alive. When we were kids, a female cousin and I played doctor around the age of 6 or 7. Talked about it a few years ago around the age of 25. Became deeply intimate and have had really incredible sex several times over the last few years. She recently got married and we have since ended our relationship. We are both normal, successful, contributing citizens. You'd never know. Hopefully no one finds out. But I miss her and our level of intimacy. My dad's a National Socialist and he regularly goes to meetings. I was raised on Germanic folklore and the idea that I'm superior to others because I'm of German descent. I have plenty of Jewish and slavish friends and I just tell them my dad died when I was younger. TL. DR my dad's a Nazi. Edit. Wow. Gold because my dad's a Nazi? In 3rd grade, I cheated on my history exam. In 4th grade, I stole my uncle Max's toupee and I glued it on my face when I was Moses in my Hebrew school play. In 5th grade, I knocked my sister Edie down the stairs and I blamed it on the dog. When my mom sent me to the summer camp for fat kids and then they served lunch, I got nuts and I pigged out and they kicked me out. But the worst thing I ever done, I mixed a pot of fake puke at home and then I went to this movie theater, hid the puke in my jacket, climbed up to the balcony and then I made a noise like this. Hooah 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 hooah. And then I dumped it over the side, all over the people in the audience. And then, this was horrible. All the people started getting sick and throwing up all over each other. I never felt so bad in my entire life. That when my ex called me to look at something weird in the toilet, it was actually a really early miscarriage and not just really weird period stuff because it would have mentally broken a girl that was already unstable. But I'm dying inside. This is ducked up and definitely a secret I'm taking to my grave. Back when I was 13 I had discovered masturbation. And the closest thing I could fap into was my mom's panties. I used to steal her panties, lick them, sniff them, wear them around the house under my pants. I would come on command while talking to her while trying to keep a straight face. It was weird and exciting. Well into my teenager years, whenever my friends would invite me over, I used to sneak into their parents' room, and the sister's room or their own room and steal their panties. I would wear their panties and do the same. Talk to them while coming with a straight face. They had no idea. I hope. It was also exciting to me. And it's ducked up as well. Thongs, G-strings, boy shorts and normal granny panties. I've accumulated all over the years and had close to 200 pairs. A few years ago I got serious with a girl. I fapped in her mom's panties as well, and moved in with her. I had to dispose my precious panty collection. So I did with sadness. Now I work in a job where I take care of people's luggages. Sometimes I go into female luggage and steal their panties, fap in them and return them in their luggage. Call me sick. I know it's ducked up, but it's a secret I'm taking to my grave. Might as well get this off of my chest, without going into great detail. Purposely vague. More than 5 years ago I was a part of a group of 3-5 people that would successfully take the MCAT in place of others for a fee. We were all adept at taking the exam. Our clients were old money types with kids who could not make the cut, or didn't want to try. The fee was $100k plus any other extra charges. Fake fingerprints, IDs, prosthetics, you name it, and we did it. I had no qualms doing this, as my reasoning was if they can't pass the exam, how in the duck would they get through med school plus steps? Take their money and let them fail out of med. No problems until one of the clients actually managed to get through school and had racked up some malpractice. Thankfully nothing too serious. It hit me hard to the point of attempted suicide. I quit and went to therapy, and the group disbanded for other reasons shortly thereafter. I'm doing much better now, but this info is staying with me from people that I know and staying with you, random reader. One night I woke up with my mind in a twist. My mom was in the hospital at the time. I had a crazy urge to call them and check on her, but I reasoned not to because I couldn't think of an excuse, so I fell back to sleep. 5 AM I get a call that they checked on her and she didn't have a pulse. I just think there was something I could have done that destroys me to even think about it. In 7th grade, Joe thought Brandon put the lime salt on his brownie, but it was actually me. I worked for a shipping company at a customer desk. A guy I had known came in to ship a package. He was a known drug dealer in my town. He didn't recognize me. The package was wrapped in duct tape. I took the package, brought it out back and made it disappear into my backpack. After my shift I opened the package and found $37,890 in cash. I never went back to the job and never heard anything about it. I left Texas a month later with cash in hand. Uncle tragically passed away last year. Never married, no kids. Treated his 10 nieces and nephews like we could do no wrong. I also found out he was probably gay, and I don't think he was out to my family, or at least to most of us. No one would have had a problem with it. But it's hard to come out when my grandma just wants to set her youngest, would have turned 50 in May, baby up with all the ladies. Yeah, no? She's persistent but means well. Is also a tad oblivious at times, but she's in her 80s. Anyway, after he passed, my dad and I were in charge of finding files to the book he was supposedly writing about our family. We wanted to finish the book and publish it in his name. My dad was having no luck finding files on his HD, so I took a stab at it. Dad isn't the best at computers. I found dating site photos he had taken, shirtless mirror pics, photos of guys I assume he was talking to, and he could have done better. You're the best uncle and only deserve the best. Also saw his history when I was looking through his browser's bookmarks to get to his emails and accounts. I forget if I deleted it yet. If I haven't, I will. I figured the search history was confirmation enough for me. Edit. Probably won't tell my cousin or sister after all. Like I said, I assume that cousin knew. They were very close and talked frequently. And even if she doesn't, doesn't matter. Won't change anything bad or good either way. And it's not my place to say anything. Thank you for advice on that. Folks, miss you, UB. I threw rocks at the school with one of my best mates and some other student tattled on us. Basically we both got the paddle. Basically they smack your bum, and they sent a letter home to my dad. My dad received the letter and I lied to him and said I never threw the rocks. My dad, bless his heart, believed me and took it to our school principal and convinced him that I wouldn't lie about such things. Since the principal wanted to rectify it for my dad's sake, he offered me a free voucher for an ice cream as an apology. It's 15 years down the track now, and I still feel really bad for it. I feel like if I told my dad now it would break his heart. Bacon is always the first food to be cooked by my father in the mornings. As a child, I would steal myself an extra piece, blame it on my little brother. Hence, I'd get a total of 3 pieces, and Browski would only get 1. Looking back, the oldest kid gets away with so much it. In 5th grade I cheated on an exam. My buddy and I were the only 2 people in the grade who got this particular question correct, but I copied him. The worst part was he was considered dumb while I was at the top of the class. So the teacher was convinced that he copied me and he ended up getting suspended. Long story short, I was too pussy to admit that I was the one who cheated, as my parents would have murdered me if I failed the test, and even worse if I got suspended. Me and my girlfriend were playing Monopoly and she was so concentrated on the game, on the dice, on her properties. She was just so engrossed in the board, that I was constantly taking money out of the bank and keeping it. I feel terrible about it because she was just so adorable trying to play the game and concentrate on trying to win. I absolutely annihilated her because I had so much money. She wasn't a sore loser about it. When we were done playing and it was obvious I had won, she just kind of sighed and we watched a movie. The whole time I couldn't stop thinking about how absolutely adorable she looked while trying to concentrate and play. The way she looked at the money she had and the properties she bought, like she was so proud of them. And I took advantage of that and stole money to win. I learned that from now on winning doesn't matter. I need to focus on having fun with her. But I will take this to the grave because if she ever finds out, she'll be talking it like nobody's business. Yesterday I responded to a car accident. I literally watched a girl I was in high school with die. She was screaming and begging to live, and then she wasn't. It wasn't surreal, like Hollywood. If one more person asks me if it was like the movies, I'm gonna punch them the duck out. I've seen my fair share of bad accidents, and have never really been bothered by death. My first call was a really bad accident. Only thing I was worried about was getting dinner. Duck, I slept like a baby last night and didn't think twice about it. I am more pissed that a young girl died with her whole life ahead of her, all because she wasn't ducking, paying attention to where she was going. People, pay the duck attention when you're driving. When you get yourself killed, it may end for you, but not for everyone else. That text message is not worth it. It's not worth it. What no one knows is that I came dangerously close to crying my ducking eyes out over it. This girl was literally one of the nicest girls I've known in my life. I was bullied in 9th grade, and she was one of the few cool kids that actually treated me kindly. I didn't know her well, but I'm sure as hell pissed that she had to die yesterday. I was giving my cat a belly rub and it jizzed all over my hand, I was accidentally switched at birth and my, not biological, parents don't know. I'm 25 and was recently approached by a private investigator who informed me that I was accidentally switched at birth with another family's baby. Apparently they were always a little doubtful that their child's appearance was indicative of their genes, so they did a DNA test when their kid was about 12 and they essentially waited until I was an adult to find me. At 12 years old they feared I might have wanted to come live with them or their child would want to live with my family, so they waited until we were adults to tell us. This is where things get weird. My biological mom is a relatively famous entertainer who has been in and out of the spotlight over the past 30 years or so. I remember watching her on TV and my mom telling me that I looked like her. I remember disagreeing and going back into my room to play Perfect Dark on my N64. At this point, 1999, nobody knew the mix-up had occurred. Through her generosity I have inherited millions of dollars among other things, and nobody will know. Not even my parents who raised me. People will know I have the money because I'm gonna buy some wallet with it, but I have no idea what to tell people when they ask me where it came from. TLDR. Reddit is gullible. I lost my virginity to a prostitute. I once put a bottle in my butt to poop into it. When I was 16 I was in a relationship with a man older than my father. I'm getting married soon. And he still mopes around and says how much he loves me and will never find someone like me. It's annoying, but also makes me feel guilty as hell. My parents took me to get my hearing checked when I was 12 because I wasn't responding when they called my name. I pretended not to hear some of the beeps in the hearing aid test room. As a result, I wore a hearing aid for 2 years when I was 12-14 years old. I don't know why I did that. My sister and I were on holiday together recently and very drunk one night when we got back from the bar. Naturally we started drinking more because we were on holiday. She has the ice cube tray in her hand, opens the window simultaneously and loses her focus and drops the tray 5 floors to the street, hitting a big guy square in the dome. He looks up and started screaming and shouting in Italian. I live in Rome, so I understood he was calling us some bad names. We just closed the window and continued drinking while we could hear this man shouting he was going to come up there and rip our heads off. Please never find me, MR scary Italian man. I was in kindergarten, probably 5 years old, and during sleeping time I asked a girl to show me her D. Not as huge as the other secrets here, but about 6 or 7 years ago I created a video together with my former boss. He was really passionate about it. After we put it up on YouTube I commented awesome with my private account from home. The next day he was really excited about this comment. Didn't know it was me and I'm going to keep it a secret. It is the only comment this video ever got. At least the last time I saw it. Edit. I don't have the YT link anymore. But it's on the website. My freshman year of college I was really hungover one morning and I was back at my parents' house for the rest of the weekend. I was wearing loose-fitting athletic shorts with no underwear and kind of rocking back and forth in front of the TV to feel that satisfying slap. Any dude knows what I'm talking about. Well, I went to fart but instead a stream of diarrhea squirted out just at the right moment and completely missed my shorts but got all over the carpet. I went to the bathroom to grab some TP. And by the time I got back to the living room my dad was on his hands and knees cleaning it up and yelling at my dog. I've never had the heart to tell him it was my accident. TL. Doctor, I shat the carpet but let my dog take the blame while my dad cleaned it up. It's nothing big. It's actually something really small and innocent and I've just decided to tell no one. When I was 5 years old a friend at primary school, whose name is Jay, told me he liked a girl called Day and asked me never to tell anyone. I never have and I never will. Almost 30 years and I haven't told anyone. Over the years I've thought about saying something to someone about it but I've never been able to bring myself to do it. Just something about the innocence of that promise, I guess. He wouldn't even care now. But 5-year-old Jay would and I don't want to break my promise to him. Edit. NZers don't do too well with compliments. But for what it's worth, thank you. The secret formula for the Krabby Patty. When my brother committed suicide I was walking into his house to go hang out. And I never knocked because we're best friends, so his house is my house and my house is his house. Anyway, I walked and got some food from the kitchen and figured he might have a girl over because usually he'll hear me and say what's up from across the house, so I didn't bother him. I've been in his house eating for about 10 minutes when I hear the gunshot that killed him. When anyone asks I tell them I found him like that. I don't think I'll be able to ever tell anyone I know that if I would have just knocked or walked down the hall I might have saved his life. Edit. To give an insight on any reasoning for what my brother did, whether it be financial issues, relationship troubles or what have you, I'll give you the last line of the short note he wrote before he died. It reads, "So I am truly sorry if you think I'm being selfish when I have been selfless my entire life and it has left me with nothing. Rest in peace, brother. I miss you." In my younger years I had a neighbor that constantly left a mess in the yard making it look like a junkyard. And they let their kids just run around ducking up the entire neighborhood. I tried to sort it out civilly with them by asking them to stop doing things that pissed off everyone. But the only response I got was that I was racist and they would target me and say I touched their kids if I ever talked to them again. They were grade A assholes, so I decided to respond in kind and made an anonymous tip to the cops that they were selling drugs. I did this for maybe 4 months, asking my buddies to make similar tips every now and then. Well, one day I come home from school. The whole neighborhood is outside on the street and the asshole's house had cop cars and a van outside. Turns out the tips worked and the cops finally checked it out. But then I see the mother and father getting led out in cuffs. Turns out when the cops showed up it was just 2 officers. But when they went to the door to talk to them the father took off out the back door. Long story short, that made the cops chase him down, drag him back, search the house and end up finding a duckton of pills, coke, and weed stashed all over the house. Since they had kids the hammer came down on the hard for that and in the end they were both arrested for dealing and the kids were taken away. Not sure if it was the right thing, and I will never let anyone know, but at least after that they weren't ducking up the neighborhood anymore. In GR 10 my dad made a deal with me. If I got an average of 88% he'd buy me a new laptop. Well, the marks came in and I only got something like an 84-85% average. Well, duck that. I want my laptop. So I went online to the regional school board's website and downloaded a PDF template of the report card. I don't know why they would have this available. Used a PDF editor to fill in the blanks and voila. Got a brand new laptop. No regrets. PS. After I did this, I started selling customized fake report cards for $50 each. I stole my little cousin's Charizard to complete my starter Pokemon set. I was 10 and he was 8. Till this day he doesn't know. When I was 13 I was told that my great grandparents were going to move to Texas and start their journey to heaven. I was crushed. I would spend every day with them up until they moved in May of 2009. Before they moved, I took a shoebox and decorated it with a picture of them and angel wings. I took my Gigi's favorite shirt, my Pop-Up's favorite button up, printed their favorite things, and stashed them away in the box. They would search for the shirt and assume they packed it away. 1 month later my Pop-Up passed away. Then my Gigi passed a week after him. I was crushed. I never told anyone but my current boyfriend about the box and most likely never will because I'm selfish. I've only opened it up 3 times in the past 6 years. I swear the shirts still smell like them. I once took a week-long trip to London. My mother asked me to get her a small rock from there, because neither of us have ever been out of the country. So, I spend the whole trip looking for this rock, and finally find the perfect one. Fantastic. She'll love it when I get back. So I get home. I'm taking inventory of all of my souvenirs, and the rock is gone. I immediately think back to where I last saw it. It was on the bedside table in the hotel in London. So I quickly run outside and find a decent rock. I clean it off. We live in Georgia. Freaking red clay is noticeable AF, and wrap it nicely. I eventually gave it to her with the story I got it from a castle. It'd break her heart to know that I got it from our backyard : 0. My dad was a biker. He died in a motorcycle accident. He had this huge old garage barn that he spent hours in. I was cleaning it out with my sister and we found a locked briefcase buried in a cupboard. We popped the lock and it was full of women's clothing. Stockings, lingerie, things like that. And definitely not my mom's size. I was pissed. He had been cheating on her. Then I got into his AOL accounts. My mom can't work a computer any better than she could work a spaceship. So I had to go in to shut his accounts down. There I found all of these screen names that he had made over the years. Every one of them had to do with stockings and panties. That's when I realized that the clothing in the briefcase wasn't a woman's. It was his. I found tons of gay porn on his computer as well. My sister and I swore never to tell and we got rid of all of the evidence. My mom is extremely conservative and even though I don't agree with her point of view, I know it would kill her to find out. That briefcase is sitting in the dump now. All my friends think they watched me lose my virginity on my front lawn one fateful summer night when I was 13. We were actually just pretending to have sex in order to duck with my friends. We were both too scared to actually do it. I've never corrected them. Let's see. When I was 14 I had this girl, 16, who lived next door to me go down on me while we typed out the whole thing to this guy, 17, over AIM. Could never look him in the eye again. Still don't know if he ever told anyone. I have never ever told a soul. Edit. You all keep telling me he told everyone. If he did, everyone did a damn good job of keeping that a secret from me. This was 2007, I think, or 2008. Please note, I'm a straightish girl for those Ming asking. Also really didn't expect this to be read. Ha, yay throwaways. Oh boy. Alright, so it was freshman year of high school and my best friend, let's call him Xavier, and I just started in marching band. Our high school essentially was 3 combined middle schools, so we met a few new people. One of them happened to play the trumpet like I did. Her name was, how about Cindy? Well, Xavier instantly had a crazy crush on Cindy and I thought she was cute, but he told me his intentions pretty quickly, so I backed off like any good bro. Well, fast forward a few weeks and we're all pretty chummy. I'm hanging out at Xavier's house and he goes upstairs to do something. He gets a text message and I look at it. Well, before he left he had been asking me vague questions of what I thought of Cindy and I got the feeling something was up but wasn't sure what. Anyway, that's why I looked at the phone. He had gotten a text from Cindy. I don't really remember what it said, but I started going through the conversation and I discovered she had a crush on me. Apparently Xavier had gone up to ask her out and she turned him down because she wanted to be with me. Well, this is where I royally duck up. I asked her out the next day and she said yes. Since then every time I think about this I realize that I am the biggest douche and really don't deserve Xavier as a friend. TLDR. I asked out friend's crush. She said yes. Tall bro code a new anus. I had, at the time, the freakiest buck-willed 6 of my life. with my best friend roommate's sister. In the middle of it, we heard someone come in. Thought it was the other roommate. Nope, it was him. Proceeded to have Quita6. Thinking he would leave eventually. Nope. Marathon gaming session in the living room. Had to pull out my car behind the place in the alley, climb on my car and help her down from the second story window. When I went back home, he asked me if his sister had come by because she left her keys in the kitchen. I said I didn't know. He thinks the other roommate banged her because, well, he looks like a dude that ducks dude's sisters.